Welcome to the Live Fully podcast. I'm the co-founder Victor, and with me is fellow co-founder Alexander Karp. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty well.
I like calling you Alexander in these formal settings.
Thank you.
Normally it's just like, hey, Karp, what's up?
Yeah, it always gets shortened to the last name for like my very common like a nickname growing up, or like sports nickname. It's definitely
Carpe diem. That's what I like to say.
Yeah, you said that one. Yeah, that's an oldie. That's a good one. Carpe was definitely my soccer nickname, and then some of my roommates and Carpe.
Like it just sounds. You're a man.
You don't.
I like Carpe. I like Carpe.
They need to Carpe. No.
You just want to pet him? Is that what it is?
He's a man.
I pretend to be a man sometimes. Otherwise, I'm like a 12-year-old boy, just like, I like to play with like.
You can be anything you want these days. All right, today, what is our topic? Let's pull up the
Today's
notes.
topic is Kratom safe for long-term use.
Oh, well, God, I hope so.
I know. That's how I was like.
It better be.
We use it. We've been using it for 8.5, 9 years now. Yeah, I mean, but it's a hard question to answer. I mean, we definitely.
Let's get started. We have Nicole in the room.
Good morning.
Morning, Nicole. Hey, by the way, last week you promised to update us on what your New Year's resolution is. So we want to hear it. And I think it applies to today. You're not on camera. Like hiding. One day.
Maybe I'll work up the courage.
We will
still
get on
see
camera
you over there. I'm not in the room. I can't talk.
Like ostriching it. Okay, so you said the topic is Kratom safe for long-term use?
Yes.
So obviously, you and I have been using it for what I would consider a long-term amount of time.
Yeah.
So
we started in 2016 when we first started introduced into Kratom, started consuming it. So
has it been that long?
It has. It has.
Let's not get depressed. Thank God for Kratom. Keep that mood up. Wow, it has been, huh?
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's a hard question to ask. I mean, any question, is it good for long-term use? Because how do you know until longer term down the road, and then kind of looking back?
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, because it's a natural substance, it's a plant that's been growing for thousands of years. Humans have been consuming it for a long traditional use for a long time. That kind of gives me more confidence that it's better. It's like, I mean, if something's synthetic, like a synthetic pharmaceutical or a synthetic, food ingredient, that always, and then, I mean, those have to go through trials and studies, but it's not like those studies necessarily last a long time until longer term down the road, we can look back and say, oh, some things that were looked at as safe for use that turned out to be like, well, that's not really safe. So it's really hard to answer those questions. But I generally try to go towards more natural foods and supplements if I can, because it's co-evolved with us. There's more likelihood that our body kind of adapted to it over thousands, tens of thousands of years. So that's where I would go personally on kind of a lot of these questions. Is it more natural? Probably then safer than
that's the history of
something
use.
That's like a synthetic.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, this reminds me of like when you and I talked about LASIK surgery like 15 years ago, whatever. And I remember, well, obviously as I'm wearing...
I got LASIK.
You got LASIK. I didn't get LASIK, and I should have. But I was really concerned about, the long term. Like, is it safe? Will I go blind and all that? And I remember at the time it was like the data was only as far as maybe 10, 15 years. So I was like, I'll just wait to a point where people have been using it long enough so that it'll be fine when I die. So whatever that mark is. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you and Chap got LASIK, so I was like, I'll just...
Oh, yeah, he got it too, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'll just watch them. If they start going blind, but damn it, now it's like you guys are fine.
LASIK was amazing, and LASIK's also been around since, I think, the 70s when it was first invented, and I think the rumor was that, like, the way they found out how to even correct vision, so basically it's the cornea, the clear part of the eyeball that you see through is part of a lens, And I think somebody got glass shards in their eye, and then those glass shards cut it, and then somehow that reshaped the cornea, so then it improved the vision. So that was kind of like the
happy accident. Really?
Yeah. It's so, I mean, that's
wow.
That
Post-it notes and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
Happy accidents. I don't even know Post-it notes. That's like the thing. Is
it an urban legend or is it true?
Is it real? I don't know. Huh?
Because the legend is that somebody was trying to make a super glue, something that was very strong, a permanent adhesive, and it turned out that it was the opposite. It was just a temporary adhesive, and then it was like, well, that was a failure. But then someone, cleverly decided to well, maybe there's another use for this, and created the Post-it note, so kind of a temporary adhesive that turned out to be an amazing product.
Yeah, I wonder if it actually is true. It sounds great,
It could be.
True enough,
If not, I hope it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't have to always be 100% honest as we're giving advice on this podcast. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I lean natural as well too. Obviously we both do. That's why we started this company. And, but even in the beginning though, we were really concerned about, I was very concerned about it. I came to you and I said, I remember the conversation. I said, I've stopped using Kratom. You're like, why? I'm like, you asked me, is it still working? I said, yeah, it's still working. You're like, then why are you stopped? And I said, I don't know. I'm just afraid. I'm going to build tolerance over time. Maybe it's having side effects. I don't know if this is good for me. Am I becoming dependent on it?
Yeah.
And you said, so you're dependent on something that makes your life better. Is that such a bad thing? You'd be dependent on exercise, you're addicted to exercise and stuff, and it's, or whatever it is, proper nutrition. And I was like, you're damn right. This is silly. Yeah, of course. Let's keep on going.
But I mean, it's definitely a good technique. I think we talked about this too, where it's a good technique to reflect on, okay, this behavior, whether it's exercise, Kratom, anything, is it improving my day-to-day life? And then looking back and reflecting, okay, am I on a trajectory that I am improving? So you can kind of take a self-assessment, because I would say even if something is, I don't think anything is categorically good or bad. I mean, exercise is a good example that in general, yes, exercise, routinely exercising, getting your cardiovascular system working, that over the lifetime shows to be beneficial. But there's always ways to take anything and make it a detriment. I mean, I know there's some people in my life that I had previously that they used exercise more as, something to escape, or an addictive side, that it was causing other parts of their life, whether it was relationship challenges. So if there's negative parts to it, that's always kind of something to reflect on. So it doesn't mean everything is Kratom. So for us, is Kratom safe for long-term use? Yes, absolutely. Does that mean it's going to be for every single person no matter what? There's potential, not necessarily, depending on how it's used, how it's consumed, what other aspects in their life is helping, or if that is helping them, if relationships. And I think that was part of the justification too, is that the pattern of use on these surveys that we saw was that generally people use Kratom to explore the rest of their life. They go out they better their relationships, they have a job, stability, they have other aspects that can point to that it's supporting what they want to get out of life.
That's a very good point.
Because that question too is, what do you want to do with your life, is the best part and worst part, because it's the possibilities of life are endless, which means you can choose to go down all these different paths. And so is it helping you accomplish other goals, other activities? Do you feel more fulfilled? Then yes, that's a good thing to keep as part of that routine, because everything, it's one part of a lot of areas. For me, Kratom definitely helps me exercise recently. So a few months ago, I used to work out after work. It was kind of my way to, okay, it's getting towards the evening, I need to go home and kind of get to other parts. And it's I'm going to go to the gym on my way home. But then for whatever reason, I was feeling unmotivated at the end of the day. I was kind of always just putting it off. Yeah. And so I started now changing. And also that was kind of because I started doing a lot of kettlebells years ago, I didn't need Kratom as much for my back pain. So I just reduced my usage. But then what I found is that, so I started taking Kratom now in the morning. So now I do my vitamin D, methylated B12. I do Tongkat Ali, and then I also do Kratom in the morning. And that just kind of helps me feel a little more energized, feel a little more positive. And now I just go straight to the gym. So it's part of a healthy habit, healthy routine that's helping me be
When
part
did you start this?
Like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I've been like slowly kind of getting into it.
I've noticed that he's been like happier and more positive in the morning and throughout the day.
I need to
Last
pay more
couple
attention.
weeks. I was attributing it to other stuff, but so that's the routine. Yeah, okay,
That's great.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I thought you had like a change in relationships or something, or
Working on it. Working on that direction in life, and getting everything situated.
Like, let's go to lunch. I need to check in on this guy. I know whatever it is, it's good. I'm like, I like this not new Alex. It's just like the
Alex
better version.
I want to be.
Yeah. I feed off of your mood. So if you're like in the morning all grouchy and stuff, then I just become grouchy too, and it just becomes this bad cycle.
Yeah. Yes.
But when you're happy, it's easier for me to be.
Sure. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
As we all are.
We all feed off each other's energy, and then others feed off my energy. So I know, I can easily, downgrade or kind of reduce other people's energy. And so I try not to, because I definitely have a history of that, especially like my family, we all kind of like do that. So I've been trying to like over many years, try to better myself on that in relationships. And and that's also some of the challenges I've noticed, where it's taken me a while to try to bring that energy back into my family, just because there's a lot. When I used to go visit my family and parents, I would kind of regress back into my old patterns, and then kind of like,
so easy to do.
It's so easy. And it's and I think people talk about those issues as well. If it's like, okay, if I'm trying to break a bad habit, well, you want to make sure that your friends and people around you support the habits you want, because it is easy for us to go back into those patterns if that's not what you want to be doing.
You're used to it. You want to be accepted. It's change is hard. And,
absolutely.
Yeah. So this last visit, you recently hung out with your family over the holidays. Anything different?
Yes. I mean, it was good because my parents came out to the West Coast, so different environment, different activities to do. And then that was easier for me to approach things differently and kind of support and kind of recommend. And so kind of go with, I guess trying to incorporate new direction, but also be cognizant of some of the limitations. So it was good overall for sure.
Yeah. And that's what, normally after a family trip, there's like, we talk about the drama that comes out of it, and this time there wasn't much that you had to say. You're like, it was a good trip. I'm like, oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's working. It's working. Yeah. So,
change is always possible. It's never too late.
Yeah. Nicole and I actually, I don't know if we want to talk about it on air, but, we had a pretty deep conversation last week about, how we become too comfortable treating the folks that are closest to us, that we care the most about, like giving them the worst of ourselves.
Yes. And I'm totally guilty of that.
Yeah, we all do it.
And it seems to be common from a lot of people I talk to is, we treat the people closest to us the hardest, or like we open to, like, to your point, like we'll kind of put on I don't know, like a happy face, or we'll kind of try to be like the positive energy around strangers or new people. But then with the people closest to us, we'll kind of be like, oh, finally I can relax now.
Yeah,
just kind
I
of
could
like,
be myself. I was like, there is some truth to that. And it's probably good for you to be able to release some of that negative energy and like in a safe place. But what's also you is not just the bad. The good is also you too. Yes. And that person deserves the good of you, not just the shit, not just all the bad stuff constantly. Like, come on. But yeah. So Nicole and I had like again, she's hiding over there.
So your friend that you're not naming,
my friend and I.
Sorry,
about, this random person that I talk with. We had some good conversations with loved ones in our lives about trying to be better versions of ourselves around them, and not taking those folks for granted and just using and abusing them with just the worst of us. And I don't know. We had that conversation. I'm sorry. Me and this friend had this conversation a week ago, and literally last night I failed. I just thought about that. So it's been like a pretty stressful, as I was mentioning, it's been like a pretty stressful couple weeks or so. Lisa's in preparing for trial, and trial prep is on top of like a busy schedule. It just makes you like, she's working 24/7, and so I'm taking the brunt of like raising the 3 boys while still doing all this. And it's a new year, so like New Year is always hard for us because we're setting goals, standards, and trying new things. It's just a busy time for the business. And we have big events coming up that we're preparing for as well too. And we have performance issues, like across the board. There's all kinds of things that we have to do. There's a lot of stuff. And I'm just super stressed and not sleeping and all that. So last night I'm literally trying to sneak in a little bit of work between 2 of the boys. So I'm like, I literally was holding Nico. He's just like, I just barely finally got him to sleep. And then Levi, my 4-year-old, is like asking me about math and wanting to watch the show. But I'm like, okay, sleep. He's going to be occupied if I put on a show. Enzo's cool over there. All right, I can bust out my laptop and I owed you some information. So I'm like, I got to get this thing to Alex. All right, let's do that now. So I'm doing all of this. Lisa gets home. It's like 8 p.m. or something. And she comes in, and then she's like, whatever, says hi to the kid. And I go like, oh, I'm just so tired. She goes, why are you tired? And it just like triggered me in such a bad way. She's just like, why are you tired? It's only like 8 o'clock. Why are you tired? I'm like, why am I tired? And I just like dumped. I was just like, look at me right now. I'm literally physically juggling all these things. She's like, and she's like, but is like something going on at work? I'm like, yeah, lots of things are going on at work, and then also at home, and all this. And she goes, okay, yeah, but everything you just said is normal for you. Is there anything that's abnormal? And it just kept on like poking the bear. So I was just like, you know what? And I just went off, and she's like, okay, you need to go to sleep, and I'll take. But then my heart rate's up. I'm like, I ain't sleeping now. And like you got me fired up, which is great because I got a lot of work done. So cool. It was great.
But see, at least you're recognizing it, and you know that you shouldn't have treated her like that and flipped out. Yeah. And so you can always go back and apologize.
I know. Now I owe her a major apology.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Sounds like it.
Add it to my list of things to do. Apologize to wife. So needless to say, I slept by myself last night, which was fun. So there's that. Okay, back to topic.
Is Kratom safe for long-term use?
I think we covered it.
And then on some of there's no say long-term clinical trials of Kratom. So from some of the at least kind of acute exposure clinical trials, giving people a normal dose of Kratom, looking at their blood work, there doesn't seem to be any red flags about, oh, this is really hard in the liver or this is an issue. So we don't have any indications from the clinical work that's showing that it would lead to a long-term detriment.
Yeah. We look at ourselves, for example. Yeah. I know some of these clinical trials are like comically small N, right? Small, like.
There is a lot of issues with research on clinical trials because of some of the data can be. It is some of the big criticism is that, at least with a lot of pharmaceuticals, they'll take people out of the clinical trial for what they'll just kind of generally call non-compliance. And there's been a lot of issues of maybe companies removing negative data just because they want the drug to be allowed because of all the monetary gains. There's quite a bit.
The huge investment it takes to actually get a drug to market.
10 years, $2.5 billion
Is it
on
2.5?
average.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
It's
I knew it was over $1 billion. But
yeah, $2.5 billion,
ridiculous.
10 years on average to get a drug from kind of creation all the way through the clinical trials to market. And it's a crazy amount of, plus this amount of time, 10 years to try to wait for that.
Yeah.
And so at least with Kratom, because it is natural, there's a lot of history of use. And even some of the studies kind of following people, long-term users, there doesn't seem to be indications that Kratom is causing a large concern for that side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wanted to bring up you and I, we get blood work done regularly, and, we've been long-term regular Kratom users. And so that's 2 data points. I know but still 2 data points. And, the issues with like liver concerns and all these, there's all these concerns people had about Kratom use. I have yet to experience it. My blood work seems fine, if not better. Things have improved across the board. So, take it for what it's worth. I mean, for us, it's been fine. Now, we primarily use whole leaf Kratom, but we also use extracts.
I use our mints quite a bit, kind of like traveling, especially, or kind of when I am feeling tired, and then I'll kind of use mints to kind of supplement on that side. But yeah, for the most part, whole leaf Kratom is by far the most dominant Kratom that I consume personally. I know you, same with you. So
same with me. I only use it if I was in Vegas last week and I was using a lot of our mints. They're great.
Yeah.
And they're easy. My favorite thing, like you've said it before, I love handing out mints to folks. Like anyone that goes, I was hanging out with family, my cousins and stuff, and most of them are Kratom users, so they're well aware, but they usually use SlimFit or one of our whole leaf Kratom, so they don't use any of our mint products. So it was just really fun to we were at we stayed up really late the night before, Vegas, and the next morning everyone was just dragging, and they're like, Vic, Kratom. And I go guess what? And I had giving them just one is what? What's that? I'm like, you just need one now. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, tell me what you think. How does it taste and all that? And everyone popped it in ooh, this tastes good. And I gave some peppermint bark.
Nice,
and then our regular mint, and then the kava Kratom, our cinnamon as well too. So I divvied out and stuff, and across the board, everyone had a really positive experience. So yeah, it was just so nice versus having to hand people mounds of Kratom. Here you go, boom, one. So, but yeah, you and I aren't every day. I don't know. Are you an everyday Kratom extract user? What's the longest period you've used just extracts? Maybe on travel or something?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks.
Wow,
sometimes longer. I mean, yeah, there's times when developing the mints, I was taking them quite regularly, frequently, doing a bunch of testing on it. So probably, 3-4 weeks, the longest, kind of doing Kratom mints.
What were the results for you, afterwards? And
I generally, if I want them or kind of knows, okay, I'm kind of tired and take a Kratom mint, then I'll always just kind of switch back to whole leaf Kratom. And then, so there was maybe sometimes that I was doing a lot of Kratom extract when traveling. So maybe 3 or 4 times a day, or for several days in a row. Cause I was literally traveling for 3 days constantly. Yeah. It's so there's kind of sleep deprivation plus using Kratom. So it was helping me kind of get to where I needed to in the airports and make sure I got my flights and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if I ever felt kind of, I don't know, there's maybe I want too much or kind of increasing too much and I want to taper back, it's okay, well, I'll just consciously taper back and then switch over to whole leaf Kratom, the full spectrum alkaloids, because that is the longest history of use. And so then I'll kind of just lower my consumption down on the tablets, and that seems to be my process.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. I think I naturally do that too. When I get back home, I'm just so cheap. I don't want to I don't want to just.
It is, yeah,
and I know we make it, and it's we have plenty of it, but I still go I'll just use the whole leaf. So let's do that one, and it's a nice routine. And then tea, of course. I can't go a day without good old Kratom tea. Yeah. Love this stuff, and I love this mug. Did I talk about this?
Nope, not yet. Why do you like that mug so much?
It's ceramic.
Okay.
So my big issue is that the tea maker that we have doesn't get the water hot enough. I want it like hot. I want to feel it. I want to feel it in the inside. I want to almost burn my tongue like that. Like, ooh, like I got to blow on it, and so it's just like I always had to take it and then like put it into like a cup that I can put into the microwave, heat it for a little bit, and then you put it into something like that, right? We have a bunch of these, whatever.
Yeah, the vacuum stainless steel insulated mugs.
But you can't put those in the microwave.
No.
So I was sitting like thinking I'm a genius. And I was called like they should, what we should do? We should invent one of these hydro flasks that you could actually microwave. Like we would make $1 million doing this thing. And it's just like
a coffee mug?
Yeah, it's like called
no, but you want it sealed. I want it sealed.
True. Yes,
Yeah. And I wanted to stay hot. Remember the Ember you bought me? The Ember product, right? That's the kind of same concept. It heats up
Did I give like Lisa a mug like a while ago? Maybe like 2 years. It was like it's one of these things where
you just double
it's a vacuum insulated mug, but then they have a second layer on the inside that's like this. It's almost like a wax basically. So you put super hot tea in it or coffee, and then it basically melts the wax, kind of transferring some of the energy. And then over the course of the several hours, that some of that melted wax then re-solidifies, putting heat back into the mug. So
That's
it kind of
cool.
keeps it longer. It keeps it like at a optimal temperature for longer.
Yeah.
And so
That's super
does
cool.
it work? Is it?
I wouldn't know because she took it to work. I don't get to use it. It's hers. Because she left at home. I would take it.
Of course.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's still there, so I'm assuming it
That's
works.
good. Sweet.
So Lisa, if you're listening to this, add it to your comments, please, in the description. Like and subscribe if you can. So anyway, yeah. So I think Nicole or whatever like Googled it, and it was like, yeah, it's widely available. So
Perfect.
I was like, oh, okay. And Kevin got it for me for Christmas. And
Cool. Very cool.
He's been on this podcast before. Kevin is in our production team, and it's a great gift. So, and I love it. I don't want to say it's my favorite because I really like your gift too. Your gift was awesome. You were the only one that got us Hot Wheels or die-cast.
Nice.
So like, I don't know.
You are the super fan now. Opening.
Did I show you my latest?
No. What is
like
it?
Children. Let me show you pictures. No one.
That's
wants
why
to
I
see
said
this
I
shit.
pretend to be a man, because it's just like I just want like to play with cars and like go mountain biking and like
Yeah, hell yeah, baby. Yeah, I'll show you later. But whatever. Here, anyway, this is like the most random podcast episode ever. But anyway, Enzo and I are doing this Hot Wheels diecast car
obsession,
full on addiction. Talking about addiction, yeah. And so we asked everybody,
are Hot Wheels good for long-term use? Is this,
definitely not. I would avoid it like the plague. Don't get into it, guys. Anyway, so we asked everybody for like diecast cars and dioramas and all that kind of stuff. Nobody, except for you two. You two are awesome.
We tried.
I mean, you didn't give me one. You got Enzo.
Well, you haven't. You still have. You haven't.
Oh, that's right.
oh,
Yeah, you have some presents behind you.
It's only like a couple weeks into January, but we'll get there. But look. So.
Is that a 7-Eleven diorama?
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I like
baby.
the glass garage in there too.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to do like we're a high end.
Yeah.
Like
I want like a glass garage diorama from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah,
That would be
with the
awesome.
car.
Yeah.
Was it a Ferrari?
Yeah, it's like I would take one of those Ferraris. I'm not a big Ferrari person in general, but
An
the
old Ferrari.
classic Ferraris, that
So
kind of
sexy.
started so nice.
Yeah, those lines. Now they just, I don't know, all the
hypercars
They all look the
are
same.
very similar. Is that a McLaren? Is that a Lamborghini? Is that I don't know. They're all so similar and so just over the top that I'm a little bit
and
bit more.
millions of dollars now, right? I remember when 100,000 was like, whoa, you had a $100,000 car. That was the car.
now it's like 4.6 million for this
You're
car.
like, talk about unattainable. Like, come on, man. All right, maybe we'll start a YouTube car channel so that we can then subsidize the and I don't have to click Hot Wheels anymore. I click real cars, not toys.
Let's do it.
Okay, so what else do we have? We have, I think we have All right. Normally we talk about some business updates, some industry updates. Industry updates, I did want to share. I don't know if you're part of it. I signed up for the study at Johns Hopkins with
nice. Yes.
Dr. Smith.
Yep. Yeah, Christian Smith is doing a study on Kratom use.
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
hopefully get accepted. I know, like for regular Kratom users.
Yeah. So yeah, talking about long-term use, they're taking. I don't know all the details of the study. I just saw it. I was like, yep, I'm in.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know the details at all about it?
I haven't looked too closely at what the protocols are going to be or what we're looking at.
Yeah. So it's all I know is from what I was required to answer in the questionnaire, but it's going to be multiple days out in Maryland, and I'm hoping to get accepted. I think it's 3 nights, maybe 3 days, 2 nights, something like that. And they're selecting folks that are regular Kratom users. I don't know what they're gonna put us through, but hopefully it's not Squid Games related. But I'm excited. I'm excited to contribute if I get picked. So it's just cool to see. I remember a time when we were hoping for some research to be done with Kratom early on. Mm-hmm. Like all we had were like some old mice studies.
Yeah. So we have quite a bit of animal studies, and then there's a bunch of survey results from kind of current consumers, what's their experience like. So now they're filling in the gap of doing actual human clinical trials. So, I mean, the FDA did their single ascending dose study, taking like 40 participants and then doing placebo control of giving consumers an increasing dose of Kratom, kind of like an acute level. So just kind of like a single dose. What does it look like? What are their vital signs or their clinical signs? Kratom from that study is well tolerated at all doses, up to 12 grams of Kratom, which is an insane amount for a single sitting in 5-minute period. So at least the directionality. So that study is now paving the way for now more longer term clinical trials of human participants.
Yeah, here it is. So I didn't quote it wrong. Yeah, 2 nights, 3 days at Johns Hopkins in Maryland. And they're looking for people who are eligible for 18 years or older, using Kratom on a regular basis, are willing to travel. They have to be require in-person screening visit, 3 to 5 hours. Ooh, that's an interrogation. And stay at a residential research unit for 3 consecutive days and 2 nights. This is not a treatment study. Compensation. What? Yeah. Compensation for up to 7 hours would be provided for study completion. Travel costs may be reimbursed on a case-by-case basis. If you're interested in seeing if you may eligible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so contact, to learn more, email us at kratomstudy@jh.edu. And see. So if you're interested, we'll put a post in the description on this thing too, if they're still accepting applicants. So participate. It'll be fun.
Yep.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, along industry updates, there are unfortunately potential bans coming up from local governments, as always, because the FDA can't show that Kratom is dangerous, but they're still trying to kind of go behind the scenes and kind of essentially dupe local municipalities into same kind of like study. Yeah, same unfortunate misinformation. And so if people can go to AmericanKratomassociation.org, and they can sign up for their newsletter and be notified of if there is a potential ban coming up in their state or city and how they can get involved, just telling their story, what their Kratom use is like, why they use it, how it's been beneficial in their life, and what they can do to kind of support it would be great for us as well.
Yeah. It does make a difference. It absolutely makes a difference.
Yeah, it's the only way that Kratom has remained legal. How we've gotten the science out there has been the amazing people willing to stand up, talk to their representatives, share their story. So yeah, the more that we can have people just tell what their experience has been, the better it will be for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've talked to countless representatives, and it's a numbers game. It really is. For them, it's like, well, if this one person filed a complaint, or these group of people are saying that this thing is bad or dangerous or whatever it is, but then this larger group says, hey, It's not. It saved my life. It's great for whatever reason. It shouldn't be banned and should just be regulated. With common sense regulation, like the KCPA, Kratom Consumer Protection Act. It makes a difference. Duh. Yeah. They're only human. They're just like us. If you saw that, you'd say the same thing. Be like, well, okay, I'm gonna go with the
exactly. Yeah.
Well, so do it. Take the time. It does work and it does make a difference. Okay, business updates. Yeah, so right now, because it's the new year, we have a new bundle that's available. It's called the New Year Better Me bundle, and it includes the Kratom that you see over here. So a lot of folks for the new year, working out, getting in shape. Fitness is a big goal for most folks. And so we've included our 3 most popular fitness-related whole leaf kratom options. So we have our SlimFit, our workout, and recovery, and they're amazing. We use the combination of those 3 pretty regularly. SlimFit I'm a fan of SlimFit right now. I have been for a bit, but I'll go to workout and recovery quite often as well too. We also included some of our stress management related products. So we have our MidDay Gold and our Sunset. Again, it's the holidays, and you just got through it all, and you got this new year. You want to start off strong. Maybe you start off a little too strong. Like I know I've been guilty of doing that in the past. And this will help you kind of like settle down, relax. Recovery is important, even for the fitness side of things too. Just as important as doing the workout, it's getting the rest to help your body heal so that you can hit it again the next day. So we added that in as well too. And all that's available for free. So we're giving it out for free. Use the code HELLO 2025, HELLO 2025, and spend over $75. You get free shipping. You get the free bundle. You can try out some Kratom, maybe that you haven't tried yet, and really, take on 2025. Also, too, we have peppermint bark. We did it for the holidays. We decided to extend it for a little bit longer. Don't know exactly how long. When it runs out, honestly, is what it is.
We'll see. Yep.
So I know we made a little extra batch. So we have some, but I'm imagining next couple of weeks and we're going to be done with it. So if you haven't gotten it yet, please try it out. It's an amazing product. It tastes great. It has this, peppermint, chocolate, mint flavor. It's my favorite thing in terms of taste, and I love the effect. It's like of all of our extra
alkaloid, so it has a really good similar effect to our whole leaf tablets, but in a much more convenient, simple form, and like to your point, tastes great. So nice peppermint chocolate flavor.
Yeah. I equate it to our full spectrum extended release tablets, which is our it's always our top 3 product.
Yes,
So you guys love it. Here's a peppermint bark version of it. A mint version. You just hold in your mouth instead of having to swallow it. So, it's a great product. Get it while you can. Who knows if it's going to be around? We'll see. All right. Anything else? Am I missing anything? All right. Cool. Anything else you want to share?
I don't think so. No, I think that covers most of what's going on.
All right. Oh, Nicole, no.
We actually are running behind on our sales meeting. We're 3 minutes late.
Oh, okay. So, what's your New Year's resolution? What is it?
Vitamins. I'm taking vitamins.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
Okay, that's good.
All right. What do you have? What you want to share? What they are? Or?
I'm taking like a women's 1-a-day multivitamin.
Okay.
I'm taking. I'm drawing a blank. A probiotic. I'm taking magnesium.
Okay.
And one that I can never remember the name of, but it's good for thyroid.
I see it right there.
What's it called?
Selenium?
Selenium, yeah.
Selenium.
For my thyroid.
Yeah. There you go. So just being around us enough.
I know. I'll take more too. I just don't know what to take. So I think I'm starting my journey of, and I just got some blood work done, so that might help me. But I didn't do the really cool one that you guys did.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys do like a really cool one and then they told you what vitamins you should take? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just went with my doctor. But it is pretty comprehensive. I just don't know if she'll be able to tell me what supplements I should take.
Oh, no problem. We'll look at the results, and then you can research to see what they should be or what you want them to be.
Yeah.
And then we'll put together your protocol.
All right, let's do it. I got my results last night, so we can look at them.
By the way, I just watched this. Sorry, I know we're over, but I just watched this documentary last night because who needs sleep? It's called "Don't Die." It's on Netflix.
Wait.
Have you heard of this?
That's a good recommendation.
Wait, were you just telling me? You were telling me about this yesterday.
Yeah. I finished. I started it when I told you yesterday, and I finished it. It's not that long. I think it's like 2 episodes or something, or maybe it's just one long episode. I just don't remember.
Are there any tips? I mean, it sounds like a great recommendation.
Yeah, don't die. Here you go. Okay, granted, I'm watching this while, trying to put a baby to sleep, and I'm sleep deprived as I'm doing it too, which is funny because one of the things is, sleep is super important. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. I'll tell you. Not having sleep does affect you. Anyways, it's this, multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever, Brian Johnson, and he is doing everything possible to extend his life.
Okay, yeah. I've heard about him, but I've not researched or looked into what his actual protocol is, but I've heard it's a crazy...
Yeah, it's called the blueprint. And so there's like levels to this blueprint. Like the first level is the obvious stuff, exercise, sleep, right diet, all that kind of stuff.
That makes sense.
Totally, if you don't smoke, you don't drink, you extend your life by X number of years, all that kind of stuff. But then like level 2 becomes like, okay, now let's get into some funky stuff. He takes like 130 or so pills a day.
Gee, that's got to be...
time consuming.
We'll have to look into it. Yeah, I want to look into it and see I'll report back on it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And then he does light therapy and all the stuff that we've talked about.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and like now like super intense workouts and then now he's like into like gene therapy, like altering your genes and stuff, and blood transfusions and all that.
Yeah,
it's like he spends like $2 million.
Blood and young blood.
It's pretty wild. But he spends over $2 million on average per year, and he has reduced his age as well as slowed down his aging. So we age at whatever, he's aging at like 0.4% of the average person or something like that. Okay.
So all right,
it's fascinating.
I'm curious. I want to look into it.
You'll like it.
Yeah, I want to see.
Watch a documentary and then like deep dive it a bit. I love your take on it. Because they flash all the supplements he takes. It's just way too much. I'm just like, oh my God, am I taking any of it? Am I taking it? Which ones do we add? so yeah, what you just said is nothing compared to
I'm sure.
This guy.
I'm sure. Well, maybe you guys can help me.
Yeah.
Put me on some more good stuff.
Yeah. Maybe not 100 pills, but
99.
10 maybe? Anyway, that's it. All right, guys, thank you as always for tuning in. And if you like what you've heard and want to support the show, go to ethanaturals.com for all your Kratom needs. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions you want us to answer, like this was straight from you guys. I know we had another question. We'll cover it at our next episode. It says, switching strains because I build tolerance if I take one too long. Why do we build a tolerance for kratom if it's natural? Oof, great questions. Okay, we will tackle all that. That's a whole thing at our next episode. But yeah, you have any more questions, post in there. I actually just ran into one of our listeners on the way out from the office yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love.
She's all like, oh my God, podcast guys. And I was like, what? I was looking around like, what are you talking about? she's like, I'm a fan. I'm such a fan. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you for supporting the show. It was awesome to run into her.
I'm glad that people actually listen.
She said, I've been commenting too.
Yeah, I've been commenting too.
That's awesome.
So shout out. Oh, I forgot her name. She was really sweet. Thanks to all you guys for listening to this.
Listening.
And for commenting, because it helps.
Yeah.
We don't know what to talk about.
Please ask us questions. Yeah, if there's anything, I'd love recommendations, questions, comments, everything. But I'd love to hear back on all of this.
This is for you guys. So let us know what you want. All right, guys. As always, I'm Victor.
I'm Alexander.
And I'm Nicole.
And as always. Live slowly.